She's hiding back there.
I'm already at page 16. That's just like in the reports. We didn't even start yet.
Yeah, they all fight.
Yeah. John Macy said that he needs to become cool like the fonts. Relax. So it's kind of a ongoing joke. Yeah, reminder. Yes. Is he?
My recommendation. That's what I'll do. Because I think what I'll do is I'll take the one out from New Writers and stuff. So now I'll just take the tool and compare. They're both composites, so they're comparable in quality than the lower. Oh, since I got it, I guess I got it.
That was fun.
Chairman. Young juror is he leading us in pledge? Because I want to produce the thing right now, the stamp.
Oh, good idea. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the town of Waukesha for the 174th annual town meeting on Tuesday, April 19th, 2016, beginning at 7:01 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Is there anybody that's would like to volunteer to lead us? I see a volunteer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Chairman Merrick,
Present.
Supervisor Radke,
Here.
Supervisor Wolf,
Here.
Supervisor Dur,
Here.
Supervisor Fisher.
Here. And we can move on to new officials' oath of office. Madam Clerk?
We'll start with Supervisor Radke.
I, Jim Radke, having been elected to the office of Waukesha Town Board Supervisor 1, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Supervisor Dur.
I, Michael G. Durr, having been elected to the office of Waukesha Town Board Supervisor number 3, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God.
On to 4. Congratulations, gentlemen. Approve and dispense with the reading of the minutes from the 173rd Annual Town Meeting held on April 24th, 2015. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll submit a motion.
And a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to reports, beginning with Clerk Treasurer Nicholas.
2015 was the first year we used our new accounting software package called Workhorse. This software is used to process our accounts payable, accounts receivable, receipting, and payroll. We also changed our accounting practice to start using fund accounting. The town spent over $500,000 on our town credit card using the Wisconsin Purchasing Card Consortium. The rebate will be over $8,000, which will be revenue in 2016. The census figures from the Wisconsin Department of Administration show that the 2015 population has increased to 9,170. We have an estimated voting age population of 7,115. In the town, over 1,800 acres of land have been taken off the town tax rolls by the state, county, and city to date, with the county owning more than 50%. In 2015, the county annexed another 105 acres. The town had 101 building permits pulled in 2015, with 5 new commercial and 8 new homes. The interior of the town hall had a facelift in 2015 with new paint and carpet and arranging the clerk treasurer's office. We had a change in staffing in 2015, and I'd like to thank my office staff, Deputy Clerk Treasurers Terry Sales and Joan Seifert, which each lady brings in individual strengths to the office. Poll workers are an asset many times overlooked. The town has some dedicated poll workers that attended training. When asked in 2015 and saw 4 elections run smoothly, we continue to accept applications from residents that are interested in serving. Again, congratulations to Supervisors Mike Durr and Jim Radke on their reelection.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And we can then move on to Chief Buchholz.
The fire department this year had a fluctuating membership as we typically do. We started the year at 39 members. We ended the year at 38 members. We have 2 high school cadets with us. Membership kind of is a mixture of firefighters and EMTs. Some of those folks serve both as firefighters and EMTs. Currently, we operate the EMT intermediate level. We're trying to progress to a paramedic level. The fire department had 485 calls in 2015, 304 medical calls, 64 vehicle accidents. We cared for 342 patients. 233 of those are town residents, 109 were non-residents. 117 calls were fire responses. We gave mutual aid to the community, to other communities 69 times, and we received mutual aid 56 times. We maintain 11 pieces of apparatus, with one of our ambulances being replaced this year with a Braun ambulance. It was our oldest ambulance. It was a 1998 that was sold at auction. Fire inspections were completed for the entire year, twice in 2 6-month periods. We had 160 total inspections and re-inspections, 44 violations that were corrected, and 3 occupancies that weren't entered. In the first 6 months period, no citations. And the second month, or the second period, 172 inspections with re-inspections, 37 violations. All the occupancies were entered and there were no citations. We continued with a very successful fire prevention program in 2015. We reached out to over 800 children that were preschool through 6th grade, 200 adults, which include grades 7 through senior citizens, 26 volunteers help put these programs together and carry them out. Pancake breakfast was a huge success for us. We had over 1,200 participants come to the pancake breakfast. We raised enough money so that the donations purchased our first Lucas device, which is a device to use on the ambulances to help do CPR. It frees up a person. It does better CPR than you can do manually. Our programs, again, continued to grow. We continued meeting our NIMS requirements. Our Mavis box system has expanded and grown. Our communication system is about to enter the digital 800 megahertz range. They are hoping to go live with that in 2016. A lot of the infrastructure was created in 2015. It was our first full year of using Intergraph CAD mobile devices in our frontline units. This allows us to track calls on the computer right away, right from dispatch rather than on paper. It also gives us the ability to free up radio conversations so that other departments can use the radio when necessary. Some of the things that we look forward to doing in the future, like I said, we hope to go to a paramedic system. We're working with some of our neighboring communities to make that happen. We have conceptual approval from the state of Wisconsin. We have some documents to get in place and some approvals to get done, but we're well on our way to hopefully making that reality. We are going to be revising response plans and Mavis cards due to some shifts in county resources. That'll be accomplished by the end of 2016. We hope to expand in some kind of quarters to provide for staffing here on site, especially in the evening when we have to wait for folks to respond to the station. It gets to be timely. We hope to be able to find a way to put folks in the quarters to improve our response times.
Thank you. And we can move on to the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. I see we've got a deputy back there. Am I springing this on you?
I haven't given anything, so I'm not sure.
Fair enough. We're springing it on you. Yes, please. We'll skip the deputy for a moment and move on to the assessor, Marty Keene.
Thank you. In the packet, I've included a statement of assessment. This past year, 2015, all of the real estate in the community was assessed at $884,179,005. Plus the personal property gave us a total value of $890,790,800 within the community. Comparing it to the equalized value, which would be a measure of how far or how we compare to market value, we're at about 96.8%, 97%. And that was the amount that was seen on your tax bill this past year. From the standpoint of compliance in the state of Wisconsin, the town is doing well. Could they compare the class of a property to what the market value is, and the guide is supposed to be 100%, but they say that if we're within 10%, we're within compliance. We're right now at about 96.8 on the residential side, so things are still holding well since our last revaluation. This past year in the community, town of Waukesha, there was about 106 sales. As I compare their assessment to the sales prices, they're showing an increase in the market of about 3%. So that's spread throughout the community, all the different housing stock, conservative, more elaborate, parcels with smaller acreages, parcels with larger acreages, and all locations in the town, showing about a 3% growth, which seems to be pretty typical with a lot of the other communities that I've been involved with, seeing between 2.5% and 4%. So I think the economy is good. There's not a great deal of foreclosures. This past year, we visited 145 properties and plan on sending out notices in the next few weeks to the properties that have had changes, and that would lead up to a board review early June. So timetable's good, value's good, everything is good here in town. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is it appropriate to ask a question? or not?
Sure.
Just a question, and this is maybe a little bit springing one on you, but do you have a sense of what the averaged assessed value of a single-family residential property in the town of Waukesha would be? Do you have any sense of what that number might be?
If I remember right, it was about $250,000, $280,000, but we could do the math off of these numbers that are here.
Okay, we're just curious. Don't need to have it now, but just
Yeah, I think we've communicated, a value of about $250,000, $280,000.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Marty? Then we can move back to the deputy.
I'm assuming you want me up here, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It's almost the right height. You can just move it. The mic is good? Okay. All right, the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department has a long tradition of providing law enforcement services on a contractual basis to the communities within Waukesha County. The town of Waukesha has contracted with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department for dedicated law enforcement service since 2004. There are 2 deputies assigned to the town of Waukesha contract. 1 deputy is assigned to second shift 7 days a week. This annual report will address the statistics for the town of Waukesha for the year of 2015. The town of Waukesha contract deputies responded to a total of 1,015 calls for service, an 8.8% increase from 2014, which had 933 calls for service. Of those, 119, 11.7, were pertaining to 911 calls that were dispatched as hangups, open lines, or no causes. This is an increase of 911 calls taken by the town of Waukesha deputy from 2014, which had a total of 102 911 calls. 112 or 11% of the calls were taken to assist the town of Waukesha Fire Department, either by a call for service or for a fire call for service. Deputies Kurt Thompson and Nate Fransky, who were assigned to the town of Waukesha contract, issued 495 traffic citations for 2015. 41 written warnings and 197 verbal warnings were issued during traffic stops. 4 parking citations were issued. In addition to traffic-related citations being issued, 16 ordinance citations were issued in 2015. The town of Waukesha contract deputy responded to a total of 97 vehicle crashes in 2015. 47 of the crashes involved property damage, 23 involved an injury, and 23 crashes involved some type of animal, mostly being car, deer, and 4 crashes were reported as hit and run. There were a total of 7 OWI arrests, 20 drivers were issued citations for operating while suspended or operating after revocation, and 95 incidents were reported as other traffic offenses. 25 or 2.5% of calls for service were dispatched as an animal case. These calls for service maintained a steady call volume at approximately 3 to 4 calls per month throughout the year. Of the total 72 property crimes reported in the town of Waukesha, 5 incidents involved a burglary, 15 involved criminal damage to property, 23 involved fraud, 23 involved theft, and 6 involved trespassing. 16 domestic incidents were dispatched in 2015, down from 17 in 2014. 3 calls resulted in a battery, which was a decrease from 8 reported in 2014. I am currently assigned to the full-time Town of Waukesha deputy for this year, and the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department is dedicated to providing a responsive, customer-oriented service to contract communities and unincorporated areas of Waukesha County. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Deputy. Any questions for Sheriff's Deputy? Thank you very much. And we are going to skip over the auditor, Baker Tilly. Paul Franz had multiple engagements tonight, and he's obviously running a little bit behind, but told us he would make it. So we can move on to 6 comments from Town Chairman John Merrick. That would be me. I am humbled, I think we're all humbled by your continued support. And your town board continues to strive to move the town of Waukesha in a positive forward direction. After a 5% tax cut and a 7% spending cut last year, your town board held the line on taxes this year. Not to the level of inflation, but zero, no increase, and we continue to provide the same level of services that we here in the town enjoy. For the first time since 2010, the town of Waukesha is not involved in any litigation whatsoever. Litigation between the town of Waukesha and the town of Brookfield ended last year and is history. We won that fight with no legal fees, additional legal fees to town taxpayers. The city of Waukesha's Great Lakes diversion application is progressing. Your town board is unanimous in its support for the success of that application. It is the best way to protect the town's water supply that serves all of us. The town is moving forward with many, many millions of dollars of smart growth. New development that has been unseen within the town for many years. 42 high-end townhomes, that comes with a little bit of self-promotion, and 2 nationally recognized sports complexes with many, many new home sites and businesses as well. Improvements and growth are embraced rather than chased away to other communities. You do have a town board that is united in your interests. We work proactively together to try and keep spending at a minimum while retaining the same level of services that we have come to enjoy. Make no mistake about it. We do have our disagreements among us, and they are somewhat frequent, but together our work is for your benefit. We continue to work to improve our DPW. The town has added 2 additional patrol vehicles last year. And under Supervisor Durr's leadership and Department Head Jerry Noli's management, we have made gains in efficiency and reliability with regards to snow and ice control. Supervisor Wolf works on our municipal assets to ensure that the community recognizes the highest value of our public lands and buildings. Supervisor Radke continues to focus on insurance and human resources development, which has saved the town of Waukesha residents thousands of dollars. And Supervisor Fisher spearheaded a capital plan that looks forward a full decade to ensure that the town has a clear direction for taxpayer funds. After some position vacancies in the past, our clerk's office, led by Clerk Nicholas, runs smoothly as it is expected to. Clerk Nicholas continues to strive to find efficiencies and cost savings within the office. In addition to achievements previously mentioned by Chief Buchholz, he's working toward a long-needed upgrade to the town's electrical system. We will soon be able to have availability of the town hall during an emergency with the fire department and town hall supplied by supplemental power generation here at the town. The town board will continue to look forward to efficiencies created through intergovernmental cooperation in each and every department, such as the new joint municipal court that was newly created with the village of Big Bend. As always, the town board enjoys hearing your comments and concerns. Should you have any concerns and complaints, whether from snow and ice control, road conditions, noise problems, etc., feel free to contact Supervisor Fisher. You can always contact the rest of us with compliments. Thank you. We'd all listen to your complaints. We can move on to citizens' comments. Anybody? Seeing none, we can move on to set Town of Waukesha 175th Annual Meeting date. Tuesday, April 18th, 2017 at 7 PM in the Waukesha Town Hall. Is there a motion? And a second?
I'll second it.
We got Mrs. Durr.
That would be a better choice.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 9, set the date for the 2016 public hearing to present the proposed 2017 budget, Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 at 7 PM at the Waukesha Town Hall. Is there a motion? Or at the notice of the town board?
I'll make a motion to.
And a second? Anybody? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
And a second? I don't know who you got. I saw a lot of hands. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Right,